Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Howie Spangler here. It's Tales from the Green Room, episode number 126. Uh, Dude, so yesterday we hit 100,000 streams for the podcast, and I'm so excited. I'm so pumped about it. I'm so grateful you guys are out there listening and now watching these days as I've transitioned to video pods, apparently. But it's so crazy to me. I started this thing about 2.5 years ago, with the idea of just I'm gonna talk about my time in the industry, the things that I've learned, uh, all the experiences that I've had, and maybe try to help some artists that are coming up, or people that aren't sure exactly how to how to make things happen. Because I didn't know how to tour. Um, I had no idea how to get on tour back in the mid 2000s when we were talking about it. We just didn't know how to go about it. And what I realized, was like, you just have to start, and eventually you work up, you pack up 2 or 3 cars if you have to with all the gear, and you start driving around regionally and just make it happen. Then you upgrade to the van and things like that. So for me, it's all about just starting, and you eventually, over time, it grows into something. And that's yet again, it's what happened with the podcast here. So I believe it was February 25th, I think, right at the end of February, when I uploaded the first episode. And I was like nervous for sure. I wasn't sure what people were going to think about it. um Thinking like, who wants to hear me talk, who wants to hear me, just kind of going on. And decided, what the hell, I'm just going to record myself and put it out there. And immediately started getting some people saying, "Oh, this is great, man." And like, did a few more episodes, and here we are, episode 126, 2.5 years later, with 100,000 streams. So thank you guys very much for supporting. And it just means a lot to me. If you would like to support the podcast, you can go to shop.howiespangler.com and buy some podcast merch, or you can hit the Venmo, um, at Howie Spangler, or the Cash App $ Howie Spangler. You can support the podcast that way, and it all just goes back into the show. So I appreciate that so much. Uh, so yeah, today I wanted to talk about the Spotify CEO Daniel Ek. Uh, I kind of put like a clickbaity title on this too. He's right. Look, I do think he's right. I do think he's right. I'm not necessarily happy about the way that Spotify pays or anything like that. And it's not just them; it's everybody else. It's the same with YouTube. If you go on YouTube, it takes millions of streams on YouTube to make any bit of money, like any like big bit of money. And it's just the world we live in now. It's so let me go to what he said here. So uh sort of read. Okay, so from this article, it's Spotify CEO Daniel Ek has spoken out about criticism of the streaming services royalty payouts, saying that artists that aren't doing well from them are failing to adapt to the new landscape of the music industry. I've been saying this for a long time. I've been saying this, like, we need to get we need to get our minds wrapped around this new model. It's not the way it was. Like, you got to stop clinging to the old way of doing things. It's This is it. This is new. Embrace the technology, embrace the platforms, and make them work for you. And so I believe he went on to say, okay, so like, okay, he says, there is a narrative fallacy here, combined with the fact that obviously some artists that used to do well in the past may not do well in this future landscape, where you can't record music once every 3 to 4 years and think it's going to be enough. Yes, like, I mean, he's right. He's absolutely right. I've been saying for so long in this show that you have to, um, like I said, embrace the new way to do it. And the new way to do it is, don't you have to release music more frequently and consistently. You can't release music every couple years and expect to keep your momentum. It's not about just the music anymore. It's about you as a brand, and as shitty as that sounds, I understand that. Uh, it's about you and what you do with your platforms, and uh, how big you want to go, and you have to connect with an audience. It's organic, and it's not just you get signed and you make a record and then you put it out, and then you go on tour, and then a year and a half, 2 years later, you make another record and put it out. It's not like that. Like, we live in a time where uh singles are king, and EPs, and if you're smart about it, if you're smart about using the Spotify platform, knowing that, with the tools that it has, like for instance, the Spotify Submit tool, for example. The Spotify Submit tool uh, gets your song, your single, in front of the curators of the playlist, the big playlist of Spotify. And now, if you can get yourself on a playlist, that could really change your life. You know, it really increases your streams. It's happened to us a couple times. They put us on Soak Up the Sun playlist back in 2016 when we were on Warped Tour, and all of a sudden, Walk Away is like blowing up. You know, and that song brings in a lot of money every year. And then they put it on Beach Vibes, and then when we put out um, Detonate, they put I Don't Want to Go on the Essential Ska, and then the last few singles we put out, the last two actually, they added to Beach Vibes and the Essential Ska, I think, and New Punk Tracks, I think. So, like, you can get in front of these people, and it really can change your life. You have to put in the work. You can't just make a record and put it out and that's it. You have to work the platforms. You have to be savvy. You can't just be like, the artist that doesn't that doesn't understand how the internet works. Like, somebody in the band should know how the internet works. That's just the way it is now. Um, I feel like, I've seen when this came out, uh, I saw some people that I know that were upset about it, and then I was reading I guess it wasn't this article, it's another article. I scrolled down to the comments because I was like, oh, this is gonna be a shit show. And sure enough, I mean, so many musicians are hating this guy right now. And I'm not saying that, you know, uh, I'm not upset about it either. Like, yeah, it sucks. The pay scale sucks, but are you gonna sit there and dwell on that? What are you gonna do about it? There's it's like yelling on Facebook about how much it sucks isn't gonna change anything. Um, so go on Google and search, how you can support uh, a movement to the songwriters, because I saw it was earlier this year that, like, Spotify and Amazon and everybody but Apple is actually trying to um, decrease or reverse an increase that happened last year for songwriters. We got a bump in a percentage for payout, and everybody but Apple is fighting it. They're trying to get it reduced again. Um, it sucks. It does. But, you know, if you thought you were going to make money from music, like strictly from music, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. There are certainly stories out there, but it's got to blow up. It's got to get a ton of streams, man. I mean, millions of streams to get a significant amount of income. And if you thought that was it, well, you're wrong. You're just wrong. And you have to put in the work. You have to go online and talk to your audience and do live streams and set up side hustles. That's where most of my income comes from, is side hustle and touring and merch, doing shows and selling merch. It's not from like the money that we get from a Spotify payout, um, is definitely, uh, I can use the money for sure, but like I'm not rich. Um, and Spotify and Pandora and YouTube, it's all tools. It's all promo tools. It's all free promo, actually. It's free tools to get people to come to your show. That's really what it is. And even before this, I always thought albums were the promo to get people to come to the show and buy a t-shirt, buy tickets, buy a t-shirt, bring a friend, they'll buy a t-shirt, Um, that's what the music is for. And if you're gonna, you can absolutely protest them if you want, but I think you're shooting yourself in the foot, you know? I mean, how easy is it to go on Spotify or Apple Music and send a link to someone, and all of a sudden within seconds they're checking out a song, you know? It's just, you have to make it work for you. Um, I've seen people talk about buy CDs, buy the band CDs. Okay, I'm not completely against that. Absolutely, I think it's great to have a CD and sell it as merch. You know, no one's going to listen to it. They're listening to it on Spotify. And yes, it puts $10 in your pocket. Absolutely, it's going to put more money in your pocket in the short term. But you have to have a long term way of thinking in this business. You can't do it on a short term basis. You can't think money. You can't think the numbers. Just just be concerned about making good music and put it out there for the fans. You know, um, every couple years is not going to work. So, uh, yeah, anybody saying just buy the CDs, boycott Spotify, you're ultimately putting the nails in your own coffin. This is the way it is now. You know, when life throws things at us, we have to find a way through. You can't ignore it. You can't, something this big, this is the way people consume. It's convenient, it's cheap, it's great for the consumer. I have a Spotify account. It's amazing. You know, I'm on both sides of this. And I'm definitely, again, I'm not saying I'm not upset. I think they should pay more, but hopefully we'll get there one day. But all these people mad about it. You're not getting it. You're not understanding. Like, look, nobody wants to hear something like that from a billionaire, especially when he's making the money off of our backs. I understand that too. You don't want to hear that from that guy, you know. Uh, so I totally get where people, it seems like, I don't know, snooty or something. It's just like or maybe tone deaf, but no, he's right. I'll read it again. Uh, let's see. Okay, I feel really that the ones that aren't doing well in streaming are predominantly people who want to release music the way it used to be released. I mean, he's right. You can't fight that. Like, he's absolutely right. We live it's 2020. This is the way to go. You can't release CDs, an album every 2, 3, 4 years. It's just, how are you going to stay? How are you going to stay in the conversation that way? How are you going to maintain momentum, especially right now when there's no shows? You can't go on tour. You know, so and then I saw some people saying like, well, I can't put albums every 6 months. No, you don't put an album every 6 months. Absolutely. Look, if you can, if you're that creative and you're you're a songwriter that can crank out tunes, like quality tunes. Um, I mean, do whatever you want. Release an album or whatever. I think what people are saying is like it's nearly impossible to do that. I side with that because I can't crank out songs like that. And I like to if it's an album, I like to let it sit for a little bit. But I knew 3 years ago when we put out the Girls record in March, I knew within 9 months that it was done. We put out in March. By Christmas, it was done. the cycle. There used to be this year and a half, like 18-month cycle, 24-month cycle. Put out a record, go on tour, promote it, get in the studio, put out another record, 2 years later. And I knew right then, I was like, this is dead already. We don't live in that world anymore. And so by saying what I say and what he was trying to say, I believe, uh, is to be more consistent and more frequent. And it's not a full album. It's not a full album. Like, put out a single, put out an EP, you know? And some of you guys have been listening and you've been hearing me say this a lot lately, is that you take an album or an EP and break it up into singles and release it over, a single every 6 to 8 weeks. Okay. You have to stay in the conversation. There's no way by doing it the old way that you're gonna maintain. And if you're not putting out music, you got to be doing something else. If you can't put out an album every year, or a few songs, let's say 4 songs a year, because I think at least quarterly you should be doing something. Put out a song, do something. If you can't do that, you need to be doing something else to supplement that, to stay in the conversation, whether that's start a YouTube channel, start a podcast. I don't know. Go live a lot. You need to keep people engaged. Otherwise, they're going to move on to something else. That's the culture we live in. We swipe, we scroll. What are you going to do? You can't sit and complain. It just gets you nowhere. Get online, start playing your songs for people. Start building an audience, build yourself, build your brand. And I know it sucks to say that. As an artist, I understand that is a tough, like, branding. Ugh. I get that. I totally get it. But that's how it is. I don't know. I don't know what else to say on it. Again, yeah, it sounds shitty coming from a guy that makes billions of dollars off of us, saying that, but he was right. So, this is like some tough love right now. I get that, but think about it. What can I do? What can I do to push this music further, to to build my brand, build this little empire? It's side hustles, man. It comes back to, multiple revenue streams, side hustle. There's Cameo, there's like I said, YouTube channel. There's, like, I make a little bit of money on the podcast, I make a tiny bit of money on YouTube every month. But I understand, I'm able to look at it in the long term. You have to play the long game. Once again, I'm able to look at it from that view and understand that, like, eventually this is going to be something. It's just like investing in a retirement fund, you know, putting money into your Roth IRA, and realizing that, well, this is, nothing now, but in 25 years, when I'm able to retire, this will be something, So it takes time, and if you're struggling right now, I know what it's like to struggle. I understand, like, you're an artist and you feel like you need to be paid for your art, and I totally understand that. And times are tough. I'm doing a lot better now these days, but uh, 5, 7 years ago, it was a struggle. It was really hard. And I was scared. It was a scary time, and I didn't know where the money was coming from. But that's when I decided that I was going to work on building myself and working on my craft, and learning how to mix bands, and be a better producer, and learn how to use Pro Tools, and start a podcast and start a YouTube channel and do live streams, and try to over deliver for my fans, to help, just to help build something where, a support system, and create these revenue streams. That's what you have to do. You can't sit on Facebook and complain, and not put music out. I just don't understand, you know. uh, so I don't know. Let me know if you agree. Leave some comments there, and Let me know if you agree, if you disagree. You know, what is it that you don't agree with? I'm trying to set this in. I'm trying to explain this in a way that makes it easier to digest. Like, you know, because it's easy to just read those things from this guy and just get mad about it. I understand, but I think what it is just a lack of education, um, and sort of scope on what's happening right now and what's been happening. You know, um, it's just that we're in a new world, and I think once you understand how it works, you'll be able to make it work for you. But I can say that you need to play the long game, and uh, you need to. It's not just about the music anymore. There are many other components, and one of them being me talking. You know, like right now, me talking to you, me talking to the fans, to our listeners, and I don't know. I just yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about it. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Thank you guys so much for tuning in once again. This is a pretty short one because you know when I don't have a guest, it's like just beat a dead horse. I've come to learn that. And please, if you'd like to support the channel, the YouTube channel, or the podcast, um, you can hit up the oh, here's my stuff right here. Boom. That's how you can support the podcast right there, right here on the bottom. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, something like that. Just take the money, put it back into the show, try to make it better. And then make sure you are following me on all the platforms. And yeah, I guess that's it. Everybody have a wonderful day. Take care, and I'll see you soon.